If you want to step out of daily project work as a contracting business owner, you have to figure out a way to deliver consistent results for clients, even when you're not physically present on the job site. In a previous video, we talked about 3 systems that you need to step out of project work as a business owner. You need a sales system, a project management system, and a financial system. And in today's video, we're going to be covering the project system. If you want to dive deeper into the sales system, check out the last video. Our project management system is going to help you deliver those consistent quality results that you're known for that gets you referrals. But how can you do that when you're not physically present on the job? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. These are the tools and practices that our founder, Anthony, has implemented in his contracting business, Reliable, that enabled him to step out of the day-to-day project work in his contracting business. And I'm sharing with you the secrets that he's learned in this video. It's really important that you have a project management process in place so that you can deliver quality results consistently and reduce the amount of time that your crew is spending out on the job, so you're increasing your margins and cutting costs. A lot of contractors really struggle to implement a project system because they're used to going out and quoting jobs themselves and then delivering the work. And if you're going to be the person who's doing everything and managing everything, then you can get away with doing that. But as soon as you step out of that day-to-day project work and you're stepping even out of sales eventually, you have to have these processes in place so that you have clear documentation in your sales process that your team is able to access and use on the job site. And then you need a way to be able to manage documents and photos and communications from your team while they are out on the job. And that's where the project management process comes into play. There are 3 key components to a project management process. The first one is pre-job planning. The second one is on-the-job notes and communication. And the third is post-job photos and documentation. Part of the job of the pre-planning process is to ensure that you get rid of job profitability assassins like midday trips to the hardware store. There is nothing that kills profitability like a couple of guys having to sit around whilst one guy or everybody runs to the hardware store to get something that could have been picked up on the way to the job or even the day before. Pre-planning is extremely important to increase profitability so that you can step out of the job. Now, pre-project planning starts during the sales process. Now, we covered this a little bit in the sales process, but it really bleeds into the project management process as well. And that's having very clear pre-job quotes that are easy to read, that anybody can understand, and that give very clear directions for the team. Those quotes need to be somewhere that the team can access before the job and create a job-specific plan. That plan needs to be created before you get to the job so that everybody is clear. There is so much time that's wasted on the job site where you have guys that you're paying an hourly rate that are sitting around waiting for instructions. It's time to cut that out by having a pre-job plan that is clearly laid out with roles and responsibilities for each guy who's going to be on the job site, so that when you go to do the work, everyone is working. The second thing that you need is on-the-job notes. So you need a place where you're able to store notes consistently online that's accessible to everybody who's going to be involved with the job. That way, if the salesperson needs to add something extra in to bring clarification and communication, there's somewhere central that lives. And that way, if you end up having to have different people on the job site, like imagine this scenario. The guy who you have out on the job running that project ends up getting sick and he can't go in for the day. If all the job notes are in a binder that's in his truck, that's going to really hinder the ability for your team to get the job done. Typically, as a business owner, unless you have a very large business, that's where you're going to have to step in. And you want to be able to have one central location online that's accessible for your entire team. Now, this could be something as simple as a Dropbox or Google Docs or something like that, but that's also part of why we created Axe, so that there's a central place to manage all those documents, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. The final thing that you need is post-job documentation. You need a place where when the job is done, your crew is able to take clear pictures and they're able to get any kind of sign-offs that they need from the client or any kind of post-job information that you need. Now, one thing that we really recommend that you do is have the foreman on the job or whoever's going to be the person managing that project is thinking in terms of what could we do better next time. And they're taking a couple of minutes, 15 to 25 minutes after a job is done to walk around and look for anything that they could be done better in the future or anything that they would improve from the beginning of the job that they're writing down, and it's going into a job specific folder. And that way, as the business owner, you're able to quickly and in real time look at the jobs that are going on and the ones that have been completed and be making decisions about, are you quoting these jobs effectively? Are clients happy? And where are you running into some snags? And you can already be working on what you need to improve the day after a job is done because you have access to those post-job documents and they're in a very clear, easy to use job specific location. Post-job documentation is super important. You don't want to get into a he said, she said situation. You want to ensure that you have pictures of everything, that the customer signed off on documents, and that is going into one central location that it's very easy to access that's specific to every job. That way, if there is a client complaint, the person who's responsible for following up with those clients knows exactly where to look to find out whether this was something that was addressed during the job and if the client already signed off on it and if the photos show that your team left everything correctly. One of the biggest reasons that contracting business owners really struggle with the project management process is organization. It's really easy to get disorganized, and if you're using some kind of a folder-based system, it can be way too complicated, especially if you're doing 10, 20, 30 jobs a year, or even 100 or a couple hundred jobs a year, depending on what kind of service you're in. It can be very difficult to manage. And that's one of the reasons that we created Axe software, so that everything that's related to a job, from sales and quoting to project management to the financials and expenses, are all easily accessible in one place. That way there's no managing of folders and trying to keep all the documents clear through different systems. You're able to clearly manage these three all-important systems in one place. Now, in the next video, we're going to go in depth into the financial system that you need in place to be able to step out of project work as a business owner. We'll see you in the next video.